Quincy Promes is a Dutch footballer who's been lighting up the pitch for years with his incredible talent and skills. What if we told you there is more to Promes than what meets the eye? There are rumours of Promes living a secret life for some time now. Some people say he's played football in different countries under different names. Some say he has a wife and kids that he keeps away from the public. But there is no real evidence to support these claims. Quincy Promes has played for some awesome clubs like Ajax Amsterdam, Sevilla FC and Spartak Moscow. He started with Ajax, which is all about youth development and has a reputable history for it. It's there that Promes first learned and showed off his skills. After that, he got into La Liga. He was in the top league there called Sevilla FC in Spain. These guys have a reputation for winning, especially when it comes to playing in the UEFA Europa League. Check it out, he even played for Spartak Moscow in Russia. This is not a small league in Russia either. The Dutch footballer was able to impress the Russians too by winning the league championship, giving him the title the Footballer of the Year. Promes had a promising career playing in these clubs, but like every athlete, he's had some major ups and downs. Him playing for some of the best clubs out there and giving it his all every single time shows he has more than just talent, but he's been through some hard times too. His main issue was that he used to struggle with form. What do we mean by form? There were games where he played and just couldn't perform like he usually does, and wasn't able to give his best effort. And back when he signed with Sevilla FC for an insane amount of money, he just couldn't live up to everyone's expectations. Happens to the best of us, right? But he did manage to make up for it when he returned to Ajax. He put on his A game and became a key player once again. However, his reputation started taking some serious hits as he started getting involved in a series of situations, one after the other. Quincy Promes was a great player and did perform every time, but there are some very disturbing things about this football player. For example, once at a family event in Abcoude, the Netherlands, he got into a heated argument with his cousin, where he accused his cousin of stealing money from his aunt. Things slowly got really out of hand, and Quincy lost his cool and attacked him with a knife. Assessing the situation at hand, his cousin's fight-or-flight response kicked in, and he decided it was best if he made a run for it, but fell, after which Quincy straight up lunged at him, stabbing him in the leg. They were eventually separated, and Quincy left the party, but this was just the beginning. It goes much further than that. What if we told you he was, in reality, mixing with some shady people and doing some really shady, illegal stuff? Things started getting worse when the cops decided to investigate the case and what really happened. So, they decided to look into phone call recordings and messages between Quincy and his father after the whole knife incident. Since his father was the one who broke the fight up, he started blowing up his phone and telling him how he shouldn't have come in between the fight. What's even worse is that he was actually proud of what he did. In one of the calls, you can hear him telling his father how he would have done some serious damage if he didn't get in the way. And in another message, he kept telling him about restoring honor and how he was a soldier. This was like a smoking gun for the prosecution, clearly showing Quincy's involvement in the stabbing and his total lack of remorse. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison, but he's currently appealing the conviction and is free on bail. But he got himself mixed up in some more trouble later. Seeing the stabbing incident and the people Promes usually hangs out with was a major red flag for the cops, and they believed this guy was involved in some seriously shady stuff. And guess what happened? A special police unit that was responsible for organized crime started keeping their eye on him. They started suspecting him of being involved in stuff like dealing drugs, like cocaine, since he used to hang around the wrong people. To keep tabs on him, the police got the permission they needed to start tapping his phone, secretly listening in on every single call and message on his phone, trying to gather evidence and see if they were right, and what they found was disturbing. Through these phone calls and messages, turns out the footballer was involved in smuggling drugs. He would usually talk about drugs, shipments, investments, and coordinating with his partners in crime. I'm sure you're thinking, why would the police go through so much trouble and start spying on him in the first place? Well, the cops had already warned him that he was spending time with some dangerous people. These guys were known for their crimes in the Dutch underworld. But did he listen? No. He went ahead and did his thing anyway. Then there was this stabbing incident, and the cops must have thought something's definitely up. Quincy and his men couldn't just text openly and talk about bringing drugs from point A to point B, so how did Quincy manage to communicate with his team? They used secret apps and tools that would make his messages scrambled up and unreadable to anyone except the person he was chatting with, using code names and substitute words to throw people off, just in case the cops did manage to listen in. To make sure he didn't leave a trace, Quincy would set his messages to self-destruct after a certain time. He would usually go ghost by using VPNs and the Tor network to make sure no one knows who he really is, and would keep mixing up his schedule by sending messages at different times and using different apps or platforms, keeping everyone guessing. The police did a great job decoding his messages, and it happened to be that Quincy Promes was involved in 2 drug shipments. One was 650 kilos, and the other was 713 kilos. Quincy was allegedly helping transport and distribute these drugs, and was in on the whole operation, working with his criminal friends to move and sell the drugs. What they would do is, they would hide the drugs in a shipment of salt on the Cap San Nicolas by sneaking cocaine in with a bunch of salt to try and hide it. They thought if they mixed it in with regular cargo like salt, it would be harder for the cops to find it during inspections. Then Promes arranged some guys he used to call runners. These guys would take the blocks of cocaine off the ship. These runners would physically handle and transport the cocaine from their hidden location on the ship. How would they find it? The ones with the cocaine blocks were marked with a black tiger logo. The Belgian police acted quickly and managed to catch one of the shipments. When Promes found out, he must have freaked out and sent a message warning the others. Imagine the tension and adrenaline pumping through Promes' veins when he realized that the cops had busted one of their shipments. This shipment, however, was part of a larger smuggling operation known as Porto, headed by Siegfried Piet Bortel, who is described as a Surinamese Dutch gangland boss. This doesn't mean Quincy was on the sidelines. He was actually the one in charge of arranging the money, sorting out the logistics, and making sure everything went smoothly by making all the important decisions, like figuring out the best routes and methods to avoid getting caught by the cops, which apparently didn't work. From all those phone calls and message interceptions, and now the shipment being caught, there was more than enough evidence to put Quincy on trial, where he got hit with some serious charges. He was charged with some serious drug smuggling charges that could land him in prison for the next 18 years. What do you think about this footballer living a double life? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. See you again soon in another video.